one of a handful of Star Trek Starship designs built specifically for combat, thus not needing to be very big, so that focus could be put into speed, manoeuvrability, and tactical-based systems. This is the SABER-Class. We've covered it with some detail in the Borg Busters video, currently our third most popular video here on the channel, but we're here today to expand on the capabilities and uses of the one tough little ship that saw action at the Battle of Sector 001, extensive battles during the Dominion War, and now on display at the Fleet Museum, Anthan or Anthan Prim. Take your pick. This is the it's the SABER-Class. Welcome to Trek Central. I'm your host Captain Jack, and if you want to keep up to date with the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, hit that subscribe button. Okay, let's go. Conflicting data gives us a range of sizes for the SABER-Class, from 190.5 meters, 223 meters, and 364.7 meters. It could simply be argued that several sizes are in service, depending on the equipment and technology installed, but in comparison to the Defiant at 170.6, the Saber looks proportionally larger than just a mere 20 meters, yet not so much larger it would be bigger than a Springfield class at 325 meters. But visual effects supervisor David Stipes states the overall length of 190.5 meters is generally used on screen, so we'll go with that for the sake of argument. The SABER-Class production base is the Advanced Starship Design Bureau Integration Section on Starbase 1. They are 190.5 meters long and a standard unit measurement at 6 decks high, crewed of around 40 personnel with a cozy maximum 200 person evacuation limit. Capable of warp speeds up to 9.7 for 12 hours, ensuring it could respond to emergency situations. Armed with 4 Type 10 phase arrays, 2 photon torpedo launchers, it definitely can pack a punch. Ship defenses include standard issue Starfleet deflector shields, duranium-titanium alloy hull, and a microfiber reinforced ablative armor. Though still in the same place atop the saucer, as opposed to being in the bullseye position, the bridge is located further forward to the front, more than triple 20 section if you like. The deflector and ventral hull sport a distinctive triangular shape. A staple feature of the ships built for war is the compact design, incorporating the nacelles directly into the hull. In the case of the SABER-Class, they're attached by short struts just behind the buzzard collectors, rather than extended outriggers. The cowlings, covered in an extra layer of armor plating, gives them extra protection from enemy fire. The engineering section is merged directly into the aft of the ship, giving it a robust and N64 controller-like appearance. Be honest, you also spotted that now I've mentioned it. In a ballsy move, the Saber has 2 shuttle bays across the leading edge of a saucer, carrying just 2 Type 9 shuttlecraft. At least 2 Saber ships were undergoing construction, repair, or refit during the USS Voyager's final construction phase in 2371 at Utopia Planitia. The design of the hull plating and escape pods is very similar to the Defiant class, suggesting their design and construction began at the same time, late 2360s, following Wolf 359 in 2367. As stated, the Saber was one of several ships designed to combat the Borg threat, following a Battle of Wolf 359, along with the Defiant class, the Akira class, Steamrunner, Norway, and the Sovereign classes of Starship. Saber-class ships by definition are light cruisers, compared to the likes of the big sister Steamrunner class torpedo boat. We'll talk about that one in another video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of that. Intended to engage in wings of 3 or 4, alternatively being fast and maneuverable, compact, and giving it a lower profile, they'd be in tandem with flanking bigger and larger vessels, such as a Nebula class or Sovereign class, basically helping draw fire and protect them whilst they'd attempt to break the line. Only 2 named ships of the class have appeared on screen, the rest have all been unnamed. The USS Argo, NCC 61357, is displayed at the Fleet Museum at Anthan Prim in Star Trek Picard Season 3. Now, the USS Jaeger, NCC 61947, is the first of the class to be built for the series. The SABER-Class and its Borg-busting sister classes participate in the first major battle, for which they were initially built for, against the well-known Borg cube at Sector 001. Whilst they had been able to cause heavy damage to the outer hull, with enough further damage to cause fluctuations in the power grid, being substantially more than the 39 ships had been able to do 6 years prior, a few ships were lost in the battle, including the Admirals. But with the help of
the Enterprise,
significantly less casualties were endured and the cube was completely destroyed, along with a fleeing sphere with a volley of 4 quantum torpedoes. These ships were present during the Second Battle of Deep Space Nine and the opening hours of the Dominion War. Whilst their conflict was not at the station itself, and the vast majority of the Dominion fleet were occupied in capturing the station, there were a large part of the fleet comprised of Starfleet and Klingon ships that destroyed the Dominion fleet yards at Taurus 3, as well as the forces patrolling them. This caused a considerable blow to the Jem'Hadar being able to quickly construct more to replace their lost ships at Deep Space Nine and in the ambush, seeing as the mouth of the Bajoran wormhole had just been mined, meaning reinforcements from the Gamma Quadrant weren't happening anytime soon. Operation Return, the large-scale battle to retake Deep Space Nine, saw Saber-Classes as some of the ships to break through the Dominion lines. While it was only the Defiant to make it through, they proved to be a valuable asset in protecting the larger vessels. 2 Saber-class ships were charged with protecting the Galaxy-class USS Venture in the First Battle of Shintoka by aiding and destroying the orbital defense platforms once the power sources for said platforms had been destroyed. Along with the other ships, including the ship that Sisko was very fond of, at least one Saber was destroyed during the Second Battle of Shintoka against the Breen, who were using extremely powerful energy-dampening weapons, capable of disabling with very little effort. In 2375, several ships of the class were part of the fleet that departed Deep Space Nine for the invasion of Cardassia. All in all, ships of the class, although they were never seen at the forefront of our screens, for very long at least, they participated in a lot of the most important and notable battles of their time, more than earning their place at the Fleet Museum. Let's talk behind the scenes of the Saber class. Alex Yeager designed the Saber class, initially coming up with a dozen of designs for Star Trek First Contact. The producers whittled down the designs until they had their 4 favourites, which we now know as Akira, Norway, Steamrunner, and Saber. The idea for these ships, first and foremost, was to look completely different to the newest flagship, i.e. the Enterprise E. The viewers weren't saying, wait, which one's the Enterprise? Because that would be embarrassing for the Big E's opening move, let's be honest. Secondly, they were all to be dedicated to battling a Borg. Contrary to the Defiant being crammed full of power to damn near rip itself apart during trial runs, they were given weapons and systems suitable to the size of the ship. Kinda makes more logical sense, doesn't it? The Saber class was the smallest, most used and easily identifiable. It was based on the idea of compacting existing formations by removing any and all weaknesses, such as struts, necks, pylons, etc., and putting it all into a small one-piece hull. It may sound as if the ship was greatly underarmed, however, coupled with the ablative armor and its maneuverability, you're looking at one tricky little sod to actually hit. Another ship, designated the USS Jaeger NCC 61947, was designed to be able to separate during battle. The uniqueness of the ship was that it looked as though the nacelles were attached to a saucer, but in fact they were attached to the battle section and was also rested on the top. The design of the ship was rejected due to it appearing too similar to the appearance of the Saber class. However, the name was saved and given to the first ship of the Saber class made, not necessarily the in-universe prototype. I guess the USS Saber does probably exist, or maybe the NX Saber. The name Jaeger was given in honor to the first man to break the sound barrier in 1947, Chuck Yeager, and its registry 61947 is reference to the year. Only low-resolution CG models were made for the movie, but when it came to use the first class on Deep Space Nine, the software differences meant it had to largely be rebuilt, thus giving the modelers an opportunity to create a higher-res version. Final fun fact for you, as it was Industrial Light and Magic that handled most of the special effects in the Star Wars films, hired to produce the huge battle sequence for the Battle of Sector 001 at the start of First Contact, as an in-joke, VFX supervisor John Knoll inserted a small CG model of the Millennium Falcon into the battle. It appears near the beginning of the scene, with the Defiant weaves between some wreckage and near Kira's top left of the screen, where there's a green explosion and it flies from behind, just as the Saber class is tail spinning. Editor Troy can try and highlight the Millennium Falcon on screen now. Good luck with that, but let's be honest, it's a cool fact. Did you know that was actually in a film? I'm sure many of you did, just like how R2-D2 is in another Star Trek film. If you know which one it is and where he appears, let me know in the comments. Okay, we'll leave you with the most up-to-date shot of the USS Argo at the Fleet Museum of an undetermined name. Just joking, it's Anthan Prim. And that's the current know about and whereabouts of the Saber class. Oh, and there was a brief appearance in Voyager at one of the approaching Borg transport conduit exit apertures in Endgame. Don't forget, many of these ships have appeared in Star Trek games such as Star Trek Online, do keep that in mind. Other than that, despite having appeared in 15 separate instances, the Saber has had very little in the way of a full view. Considering the sheer amount of Trek available right now, but seeing as Starfleet is turning their attention back to exploration and discovery, it's probably unlikely we'll get a glimpse of these war-purpose ships again anytime soon. Maybe in Star Trek Lower Decks, given it is set in the 2380s. Cross our fingers, Season 4 is approaching very soon. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.